Hey, Mark.
Hey, hey, Bill, what's happening, buddy?
Not much. How are you?
I'm good, dude. Thank you for jumping on the segment podcast. I had a great time shooting yesterday for the SSB commercial for the chain lube, and man, it was windy out there.
That was so much fun.
that
Yeah.
was that was
Yeah.
awesome. Now, the bike that you were on, so for the folks out there that are joining into the podcast, this is Bill Mall. He is the owner of a bike company called Cycleogical out in Dana Point, California, Southern California, bike shop owner. Yesterday, we were after work, we were going out and shooting for SSB, Sand Sports Brothers. It's a company that does like the spray and wash. They just released a chain lube, but we were out on the coast, and man, the winds were just howling, howling. And we were all on DJs. And what was the bike that you were on, Bill?
It was an SE Monster Quad. The thing was a tank. I'm used to riding really light mountain bikes, but it was fun. Definitely, the wind was howling. It was tough. Trying to bring up a wheelie and just getting blown sideways.
Totally. I tried to bunny hop those
Oh,
stairs, and
yeah.
I got blown into a dead sailor, man. I thought I was going down.
Oh my God, that was an interesting moment. I think we'll have it on camera, and you can put it on one of your future segments because you definitely scared us there with that one.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, just put it back down on the ground, please, quickly.
This guy doesn't just do podcasts; he's got mad skills on a bicycle too. A borrowed dirt jump bike, sending it downstairs. So anyway.
Yeah, we were having a good time. John was scaring me though, man. He's like, "How about this, guys? How about that?" Well, that what was that? That 20-foot drop, and Joey Yates, he probably hit it if he was there yesterday. But man, 20 feet with kind of a crosswind onto the beach, that was nutso.
A little bit of a soft landing there. I don't know.
Yeah,
Without suspension and a slack head angle, I wasn't going to hit it on that monster. But
bro. Bill, I thought you were going to send it a couple times with Ryder. A couple times he's done the pre-run. So for the folks that don't know, when you see the commercial come out, I'm sure Ryder's going to be in it. Ryder is Bill and Melissa's doggy and was out on the shoot yesterday. And Bill did a couple run-ups where he like ran up just to test the angle to see how the wind felt, and then made a stop right at the cliff's edge. But man, Ryder looked like he was ready to go.
yeah, he dropped down that first one with me. I don't think anyone expected that one or got it on film.
Yeah, that was a good roller. That was a great roller. So I think Joey's got it in the background there. But this will probably come out maybe in a couple weeks for SSB. But here's some of the behind the scenes that's on Instagram. You can check out just kind of what we were doing yesterday, rolling some steps. Bill sending it with the dog with Ryder. You were the first one to do that steep drop too. That was crazy.
Yeah, that monster quad handled it no problem.
That was super awesome. But yeah, for the folks who don't know Bill, Bill Mall and Melissa Mall own Cycleogical. And Bill, you were telling me backstage that you opened that thing up. What was it? Did you say 2000 and was it 12?
Yeah, March 17th, 2012, back on St. Patrick's Day in 2012. And yeah, so 11 years now. And it's been really, really fun, really interesting. Had a good time.
Yeah, you guys have seen a ton with the whole mountain bike scene, going through its normal changes and then the influx of riders from COVID. You were telling me backstage, a couple minutes ago that it was challenging as an owner and just being in the industry and trying to be careful with COVID, like in the store.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that was it was difficult times. Everyone, was good for the shop at first because we were able to sell off all of our inventory, all our old inventory. It just got challenging when we couldn't get new inventory and the supply chain ran out. And it was also tough not being in the shop. I was high risk. I served in the military and had a lung condition from the first Gulf War and wasn't able to be in the shop. And
oh dang,
yeah, so that was it was tough not being there a lot and just communicating with people via phone and video conference and Skype and stuff like that.
Yeah, I bet after all those years of being hands-on and in the shop. But when Cycleogical started in 2012, there's a couple things I wanted to find out. Like one, you opened it up in Dana Point, beautiful area. And then two, how did you come up with the name Cycleogical? I love that name.
Yeah, we were looking for looking for names that hadn't been used before, and trademarked and spitballed. But Melissa, actually, my wife, came up with the name, and I was like, it's got to be taken. That's an interesting name. And there's a Cycleogical clothing company that spells the name a little bit differently, but no one had it trademarked or used that was spelled this way, and so we went with it. Brilliant. A little bit difficult to explain to people on your email when you're giving them your email, spelling it for them. They want to use Cycleogical with a PS,
right?
So see why? So
yeah, I love it. And then the logo, it looks like is that like a master link?
Yeah, chain link
logo
with the CEO Cycleogical, and then Dana Point.
That's very cool. That's really cool. And then Bill, when you obviously you had a passion for mountain biking, you had been riding for a long time, but tell us a little bit about your background in riding mountain bikes, because it looks like you do it all: mountain bikes, cruisers, BMX. I think moto.
Anything with two wheels.
Right. Where did this all start?
Parents got me a Schwinn Stingray when I was like 6 or 7 years old, and started building wood ramps with cinder blocks, on the sidewalk, and that's how it all started. Then I kind of got into dirt biking, motocross. Did that until I was in my 30s, and then raced off-road desert until I was in my 40s. And I always had a day job, but was able to luckily race and have a good time for a long time. And but when I hit about 43 years old, the business I was with, we ended up selling the business. It was a software company, and the local bike shop went out of business in town. It was called Revo. And they were in Dana Point for a number of years, and they went out of business. Wife was sick of me traveling, and she's like, "You love bikes. Why don't you start a bike shop?" So that's how Cycleogical came to be.
No way. That's awesome. Was it, now talk to us? There's a lot of us out there that are wanting to transfer from like the corporate, golden handcuffs and start up something on their own, something that they really love to do. Was that a difficult transition for you, or were you like to the point where you just knew this is the time to do it?
It was really challenging transition to make. I mean, it was really refreshing at the time. Painting the shop and doing the tenant improvements, and just doing the stuff yourself when you're doing a startup or a new location. We started really small and just worked really hard and worked with our hands and did things that you wouldn't normally do when I was doing software sales, and that was pretty rewarding to see it come to fruition. And when it eventually started making money too, it was nice.
That's awesome. Were you always at the same location, Bill, when you first started Cycleogical?
Yeah, we started with the same location, and have kind of expanded within the building that we're in. We started with a small space up top, and then it grew a little bit, and then we got 2 garages down below as well. So it's still a small mom and pop. We're not going to be an InCycle or a Rock and Road anytime. That's not our goals. We just family oriented. We love our employees, and we want their families welcome. And so
that is awesome. I definitely want to ask about some of those, because some of those folks were little kiddos when the shop opened, and then they came on up through the shop. Adam Mock here is in the audience. What's up, Adam Mock? I'm so glad you made it. He says, I made it. I almost got a Ripmo from Cycleogical, but they were so hard to come by at the time.
Cool. Thanks, Adam. I'm glad you gave us a shot. I completely understand the supply chain is very challenging. We just sold a Ripmo AF yesterday, though. That was nice, and we have one more Ripmo AF in stock still.
Nice.
So, inventory's kind of spotty and hard to come by. Speaking of new bikes, on the Ripmo segment, the new Pivot Firebird 2.9, that bike is off the hook, and we can get those right now. There's some availability on those bikes. So.
Yeah, how is the supply chain from like a business owner? Has it changed in the sense that it's getting a lot better? Is it flooded again? Is it still sparse? Where are we at when it comes to that?
It's kind of sparse and hit and miss, especially with parts. And the big parts companies like Shimano and SRAM, they're still seeing some delays, but it's been challenging, and sometimes we've had to source our parts from different areas. But yeah, it's sourcing parts from a lot of different sources that we didn't used to have to do. In the past, we were able to get most of our stuff from one supplier, and they provided everything.
So. Yeah. Man, I know I was on a ride at a place in San Diego, and my buddy Joey here, he broke his chain, and I was thinking to myself, oh man, is he going to be off the bike for a while now, or how's that going to be? Like, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, we were out of 11-speed chains for a little while. Service, service was potentially getting backed up, and we at some points had to, purchase stuff direct from eBay at retail or Amazon at retail, just so we could repair a customer's bike and keep the customer happy and keep the service flowing. So
getting creative for sure where you can. I've heard of that, people doing like Amazon and whatever that needed to be done, maybe other bike shops loaning you a part or two if you could.
Yeah, borrowing stuff. Yeah. Getting actually, it was interesting. There's a couple of our old when we started the bike shop, we just started with Pivot and Jameis. And then, but companies like Jameis and Fuji, when these shortages happened, we were getting tubes and tires and parts and cassettes from these larger bike manufacturers that didn't have frames to put these parts on. So they started selling to some of the dealers. So that was nice too. So even the the people in the industry, they got the bigger people in the industry, they got wise to it and said, okay, there's a hole in the market for tubes and tires. We don't have frames to put these tubes, tires, cassettes on. We'll sell them to the bike shops. So.
Nice. That's good. Yeah. It seems like everybody had to pivot during that time. What do you think it was? And I'm going to give some shout outs too to the chat. We have a lot of cool people out here in the chat, but what do you think it was about COVID? Something that was like everybody go inside, don't go to work. And what was it about that brought people out and brought them out to bikes? Like, you must have seen thousands of people coming through.
Yeah, it was amazing. So first what happened was the kids bikes and the $500 entry-level mountain bikes, which we call the gateway drug. And all these people are coming out of the gym. They couldn't go to the gym. So we had a bunch of gym people that were doing spin, things like that. Another reason why Peloton blew up during that time.
Oh yeah.
And kids, lots of kids, that parents had the kids at home. They needed an activity that kids could do outside that was social distancing. So the bike thing blew up. So that's what we saw go extinct at first, was the kids bikes and the $500 mountain bikes with like cable disc brakes. Then it went to the $700 mountain bikes, hardtails with hydraulic disc brakes. And it just kind of trickled up as far as supply running out of product. But we hope at least of those gateway drug bikes that we sold, if we can get 20 to 30% of those people sticking with it, that's just going to be amazing for the industry. I mean, we're going to see a COVID whiplash of more people out there riding bikes, and you can see it on the trails right now. I mean, a lot of people are hating on the new people out there, and we don't want it to be like surfing. We don't want it to be exclusive. We want it to be inclusive of everyone, families. At least that's my thought on it. Yeah. And so to try to foster that is important to us.
No, that makes sense. That's cool. That's good culture. I do have to say, I am a COVID rider too. I started it's so funny. You nailed it. The same way my son looked at me and he said, "Hey Dad, why don't we just get mountain bikes?" Because we would drive down to San Diego to jump in the water, but it ended up taking like all morning long. Little did I know, fast forward now, it takes all morning long anyways on a bike, just because we're out there for so long having a good time. But that's cool. He was a gateway drug boy. He it was a hardtail Haro, and there was a used Specialized stump jumper in the shop. Cool. And we ended up walking out the door, and I never looked back, man. It's been cool. So fun. And everybody's been cool. Speaking of everybody, we got tons of people in here. Brett Hall is in here. Brett Hall is the owner of a clothing company called Unspoken. He says, "We love every rider. We all started somewhere." Definitely. So Air Blair is in here. He says, "Did you say brakes?"
Who needs brakes?
Who needs brakes? He didn't have any brakes yesterday on the commercial shoot.
Yeah, we're getting Blair's bike dialed in right now. After that shoot, I took the bike back to the shop, and Sean, our mechanic, he's actually 9-time national trials champion. Used to be Hans Ray's teammate with GT back in the 80s. But he's big into these. Blair has these hydraulic Magura rim brakes, which are like trials brakes. So Sean's big into that, and you probably wouldn't find a shop in probably most of California that would carry these hydraulic rim brake parts. But we have the barbs, we have the hydraulic lines. They're different than the regular stuff, and it's basically hydraulics actuating a rim brake. Pretty impressive stuff.
Dang.
But Sean is getting Blair's bike dialed in, so he'll be able to send it even harder.
Yes. I can't believe he hit that steep downhill into the beach yesterday with no brakes. I looked to the left, looked at the ocean for a second, I looked to the right, and the cameras were rolling, and there he goes. That was so good. That was so good.
Turn the camera on and watch everyone do it.
I know. Kodiak, was it Kodak Courage? Once that camera starts to roll, man, everyone's like, I can do this with the 20-mile-an-hour crosswind. That was scary. We got Spokesman MTB in the house. Spokesman is up in Northern California. We have a celebrity in the house, Mr. Colorado Kid. Shout out to Colorado Kid also for this Roadcaster setup. He had given me the advice on how to pick this up. So he says he's sitting in front of his computer and trying to figure out how to make Colorado Kid limited edition trading cards.
That's cool.
Oh, hitting the bike shop soon. Spokesman MTV says, I made trading cards.
Colorado Karate Kid?
That's it. Colorado Karate Kid. Yeah, from the last podcast. Yeah. Cobra Kid. Spokesman said, I made trading cards for my company once, senior management and C-suite officers. It was a hot item. Dang. That could be super fun. We also have New Zealand in the house. He says, what's up, MTB nerds up there? We got MTB Kaz Ozeki. Am I saying that right, buddy? He says, what up, people? Yeah, there's Octodad out of New Zealand, which is awesome. There's MTB Kaz Ozeki. Ozeki? I think I'm saying that right. What's up, people? Oh, Johnny.
New Zealand's on my bucket list. I've always wanted to ride there. I just look at pictures from there and videos from there, and that looks amazing to me.
So it looks so beautiful there, man. Marty, keep blasting out pictures on IG because that place looks so fun.
I gotta give him a follow. So
yeah, give Mountain Bike Q&A a follow too. This is Johnny U. He says, does the trading cards pack come with a hard piece of gum? Do you remember that? Back in the day, Spokesman says, that's a very good question. Oh my God, you used to chew that until the sugar would run out and then it would feel like you're chewing on like leather. Oh man. Bill, so you opened up the shop in 2012. Melissa comes up with the name Cycleogical. You're coming off the corporate world. So in my job in the real world, I do sales for a pharmaceutical company. So I know on the software side, like lots of traveling, lots of people, trying to make sure that all the accounts are happy, and then going to your own business must have felt so good. Like I heard you say like painting it, caressing the shop, basically making sure that it's the way that you wanted it. Yeah. But were there moments where you're like, dude, we're not going to make it? Or were you okay from the jump?
Early on, I was a moto guy and then hardcore mountain biker and like the enduro mountain bike segment. And that's how we opened up the shop. And we were pretty much, Pivot was our main brand. And, and my, good friend of mine from the software industry, I was like, I'm kind of struggling, we're not selling a lot. We're selling a fair amount, but we're not killing. This was like the first year and year and a half. And he's like, bro, you're alienating like 70% of your audience. You're in Dana Point. You can't just sell hardcore mountain bikes and road bikes. You need to sell some kids bikes, sell some family bikes. Those kids bikes will end up being riders. And that's what I was kind of got into, that gateway drug mentality of like, got to nurture the youth and the newer riders. And I think, it's just any rider needs to have that ability to excel. And I wasn't doing that right off the bat, just because I was that core enduro rider, mountain bike rider, and didn't think about, just was kind of selfish. And this is what it is, and this is the best. And anyway, so once we did that, the business really took off, and Melissa became a little bit more involved with the business then. At first, she was working in ophthalmology and in the medical industry as well. And when she became involved, the business became more family oriented, and then it opened up and really grew. So
nice. Yeah, that's really cool, man. That's expanding from like one discipline of bike. Like with two wheels, there's so many different disciplines, man. There's the dirt jumpers, there's the cruisers, there's the kids bike, hardtails, trail, enduro, DH. Trail Dogs is saying now there are 9-year-olds doing backflips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no kidding, man. So many talented. If you're 9 years old doing a backflip, when do you think they started? Like 8?
Well, I think Jackson Goldstone, who just won Red Bull Hardline, was backflipping at like 7 or 8 years old.
Good
as well.
grief.
There's some old videos of him doing that.
Good grief. My goodness.
But his dad was a hardcore mountain biker. They live in that Whistler area, and he was involved in it early. And the earlier you're going to see these kids also from a moto perspective, you're going to see these kids that are riding these Stasics at 2 years old, that are learning throttle control at 2 years old. Anytime you can get something ingrained in that early, it's just that muscle memory never goes away.
Yeah. God, that's insane, man. That definitely is insane. Spokesman saying yesterday road Santa Cruz weather is perfect right now. Oh, Marty was asking where has everybody been riding, and then Trail Dog saying he's 18. He's 18. I wonder what they're talking about there. But yeah, I mean, all these kids getting on mountain bikes, and then we had Air Blair with us yesterday. He's the coach of the Laguna Beach mountain bike team. I think every single one of those kids shreds super hard.
Yeah, he's got 42. He told me 42 kids, I think.
Yeah,
and
I think that's what he said.
We're really excited. That's another thing we love to do is collaborations. And like another guy you had on your podcast, Big Lou. We've collaborated with him multiple times. We've done Ensenada Bike Fest. He put on a rad event there. Luge and Brews multiple times. And he's just a really good promoter. Collaborating with people like him, and then meeting Blair and knowing that he's got those kids, because I kind of introduced him to the program that we have with Dana Hill's mountain bike team. Brad Greenbaum, he's a famous surgeon for the motocross industry and sports industry. He runs the high school mountain bike team for Dana Hill's. We take care of their kids and, help them out, make sure that, if there's an upcoming race, we get them first in line and get them ahead of the pack so they get their service done, give them a little discount. So, but we're going to try to do that with Blair and the Laguna kids as well.
Dang, that's cool. Community, man, out there doing stuff, good stuff with the community. There was also, you were saying that you had a cross country team that you guys were supporting.
So Descent Race Team, they've been with us for years. I almost forgot about them. Oh my God, great group of people. The coolest group of cross country, enduro, distance racers. They do it all. Gravel events, XC events, but they kill it. It's Descent Race Team, and they've been sponsored by Cycleogical for, I think, seven years now. Maybe even eight years. 8 years. I was conferring with the wife. So I think 8 years. So they've been great. Very, everyone in that group's really family oriented. If anyone ever wants to get in or involved with some of these cross country or endurance events or gravel events, hit me up and I'll connect you with these guys. They're really open and like to bring new people in to the sport. That's
awesome. Was it a team that you cultured and created, or did you adopt them from another place that?
Yeah, we actually adopted them from Jack's, which is where Sean actually came from. Sean helped us when we opened 11 years ago for a short period of time while he was working somewhere else. And then then he was working at Jack's, and then he kind of, when he left Jack's, he kind of brought them with us because he's that good of a mechanic that these guys won't let anyone else work on their bikes, I think.
Oh, wow.
I think that's part of the reason. And we helped him out with some cool jerseys and easy ups and stuff like that too. So.
That's really cool. That's really cool how you created that group. And it sounds like now you have that team, but you're gonna sorry, you're gonna do a enduro team now. You're gonna try to build one out.
Yeah, so we're looking for basically psychological ambassadors, and we're also talking about collaborating. The hat you're wearing, SSB, came to us and they said, we've got a couple ambassadors that are close to you that don't have a shop that they work with, and we think they'd be great for your shop. You've got a couple enduro riders who don't have a bike washer sealant brand, so let's pull this together and collaborate and do something that's core. And we like to align ourselves with people that have similar values and family values, and SSB and their ambassadors seem to align really well with our ambassadors and what we've got going. So I think that's a great thing. Once you find a good group of people to collaborate with, I think it's really intelligent to do that.
Yeah, no, that's going to be great. Good people. And then it's kind of nice going back to so you're basically coming from the enduro background, from your riding perspective. Is that going to be super fun to build out this enduro team? I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's kind of, I've been off the bike for about 18 months and just got on the bike about a month ago. I had a little, I got hit by a truck, but in the parking lot on a sidewalk.
What?
Near the shop. Yeah, crazy story.
Wait, walking or riding?
No, I was riding my bike. So I just finished a pretty gnarly ride in the morning and got home, and my wife said, "Hey, Bill, we gotta open the shop. I'll go open. You shower and roll down on your bike," because we live pretty close to the shop. And she went down. I rolled down on the bike. Luckily, I was going to put on my helmet. It was all sweaty, and I was like, I'm not going to wear a helmet. And then I was like, nah, I should probably wear a helmet because a friend of ours had just gotten hurt with a head injury like the previous week. I was like, so I grabbed my son's helmet, threw that on. He's adult son, 19 years old at the time. Put that helmet on, rolled down, turned on the sidewalk in front of near our shop, in front of Bear Coast Coffee, and some gentleman in a Ford F-250 4x4
Good God.
thought he was in reverse, but he was in drive, and he looked back over his shoulder and
geez.
stepped on the throttle, and it just simultaneously happened that I was going by at about 15 miles an hour. And you ever flick a piece of paper?
Right.
I was that piece of paper that got flicked.
Oh, dude, so, like those old football things at school.
Yeah, exactly.
Try to flick it. Holy cow. So
he was right through the uprights.
Oh my gosh, Bill. So you went flying. He didn't run you over.
No. He
hunted you.
Luckily, it didn't squish me because his truck continued to go because his foot was stuck on the throttle into a planter box and up into the planter box and wedged into a palm tree. And I flew over the planter box, luckily, and didn't get squished. So dislocated my hip and like separated my shoulder, mild concussion, and I had to have a knee surgery. So there's a few things. So it put me out for about 18 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crappy, but anyway, I don't think the guy meant to do it. So
yeah, I mean, the guy probably felt horrible, but why is it always these big trucks? So when I hear these stories, it's so scary.
I'm back, and I've been back. Yeah, he says this is why I don't do road biking. I was on my mountain bike on a sidewalk. You just never know.
But now that you're here with us and in front of us right now, are we allowed
to
ask?
Road bikes, yeah, do put you in that situation a lot as well. I agree.
Yeah. Now that you're here and you're over the 18 months, are we allowed to ask, is the bike okay?
Oh, the bike actually wasn't totaled, but the E-wing, like it had E-wing tie cranks, and the spindle in the middle got bent. The truck didn't run the bike over. The bike got sent away from the truck, but yeah, there's a few things. A few things were tweaked on it pretty good. So
dang, Bill. Chuck says being off the bike sucks. Oh yeah, that's Isaiah. Isaiah's been off the bike for different surgeries. But yeah,
man. Yeah, heal up, man. It was really really a bummer. I mean, I gained 30 pounds, which is crazy. I'm pretty tall, but 30 pounds is a lot of weight to gain. I got back on the mountain bike, and so I've been back on the bike for a month and a half now. I tried to get back on the mountain bike, and my knee kept swelling up, and I was having a hard time going uphill because just the extra weight I was carrying. So I did get on the road bike and been doing the trainer a little bit, and then actually got on an e-mountain bike for a little bit of the off-road stuff. And I was anti e-mountain bike. But my wife said I was being let's change the words, a jerk. And to get over it and go ride, just get out so you can get that adrenaline out and be a happier person.
Yeah,
the road bike wasn't quite doing that for me. It was kind of making me an angrier person, the road bike. Just dealing with cars and, shit like that, stuff like that. Excuse me.
No, you can cuss on the show. How did you feel about the E when you were on it?
Okay, so I was really anti before, but from a business perspective, we adopted e-bikes because,
hotcakes
wanted them, and it was something we could sell that would make us money. So, but when I was selling them, I was very preachy as far as, do you understand? If you're new to this, you can ride up hills that most people don't expect a bike to be going uphill. So, I try to educate everyone, because I don't want to see someone coming up a hill when I'm coming down at 30 miles an hour, 12 miles an hour. And, that's
right. That's going the wrong way.
Yeah. But now after I got on it and rode it, it's pretty amazing as far as what it can do for you from a riding perspective, getting you out there. My normal loop at Romulus in the morning is like 7 miles, 1,200 feet on the regular 32-pound enduro bike. Average heart rate's like 168, 165. Okay. But it's never 165. It's like 180, 90, 170, 80, up and down.
Right.
So the e-bike, I go out same hour and 10 minutes, hour and 5 minutes, 12 miles, 2,500 feet. So almost double the distance, double the elevation in the same amount of time. Average heart rate, 150. Never below. Well, it depends on, that's running at an eco. But what that allowed me to do was not have my knee swell up and spin at 95 RPMs basically. So, but the heart rate would never drop below 140 and would never go above like 155. So you don't stop pedaling. So what I tell people is an e-bike can turn a mountain bike ride into a flat road bike ride from a fitness perspective, if you wanted it to.
Right.
But they're a little soulless going downhill, in my opinion. I'm riding we had a demo bike at the shop, an Intense Taser. So I was riding that. Amazing bike, but all of the full power e-bikes to me at 48 to 50 pounds, I'm really kind of light e-bike curious now. But I still want to ride my Firebird 29 conventional bike, and then maybe considering trying to pick up a light e-bike, like the new Pivot Shuttle SL.
Yeah, that bike looks pretty dope.
Killing it, right around 37 pounds. And my enduro bike doesn't weigh much more than that,
Right, exactly. Put you right in the sweet spot. Oh, what's up, Sean? California MTB is here out of the East Coast now. He's out there. He says, oh, hi, friends. What's up, Sean? Good to see you on here, man. Octotest saying, what's a good XS enduro bike for extra small enduro bike for kids? First full suspension MTB for the first one.
Rocky Mountain. Oh, actually, who else has one that's really good? Transition. Yeah, and they can convert it from 24 to 26, 26-inch wheels. But at 26-inch wheels, it is a extra small or smaller enduro mountain bike. Another one that would be good that has super low standover pivot. A lot of the pivots, like even their Mach 6, super low standover, and you can get those in an extra small. We've got a couple riders riding the extra small that are like we've got a woman that's 5 foot tall and a man who's 5'3" that's riding the Mach 6 extra small. So that's a great enduro bike.
Nice. For kids, is it better to get them in like a 27.5 extra small since they're going to grow so much if they're like in the preteens?
What I like to do with the kids is, everyone, I've got two kids. They were 3 years apart. So I didn't really mind laying out the money for the first kid because I knew the second kid would get the bike.
Oh, yeah.
And we started out with a 24-inch hardtail and then passed that down to the younger son, and then went to a 26-inch full suspension, extra small, and then passed that down. But if I had one kid, maybe I would have made him stretch a little bit more. I get a lot of dads that come into the shop. They're like, I want this bike for 3 years at least. And then, they want to go a little bit bigger. So I say, if we could put a really short stem on it, get the bars to the right length, and the kid can pull up a curb without pedaling, then he's going to be safe off-road. If he can't pull up that curb without pedaling, you're going to be going downhill. You're going to have to pull up over obstacles. I think it's critical that you can at least loft your front wheel yourself without pedaling.
Man.
So that's my advice to people.
Great advice. Rick's on here. EMTB and Moto Adventure says, my 7-year-old rode the Transition Ripcord 24 in Maui on Pineapple's Express Trail. Perfect bike for the 7 to 10 age bracket. Yeah.
I agree. That's a great bike. So
sweet. Air Blair is saying, Liv has a great priced e-bike that would be great for kids. I didn't know there were kids e-bikes.
Oh, well, it's a female. Liv's the Giants female specific brand.
Oh, yes.
We're not a giant dealer, but the Livs and the Pivots have probably the lowest standover in the industry as far as good standover height.
Wow. Dang, that's cool. Yeah, I know my son, I'm constantly towing him up the mountain, especially like when we go to places like Sky Park. He just wants the tow because he wants the downhill. So he's like, as soon as there is a e-bike for kids, Dad, can I jump on one? And I'm like, man, I don't know. I think maybe Sean, California MTB, he is an ambassador for Rocky Mountain. Maybe he can. Yeah, maybe he could like get some on that. Brett Hall saying Tanner rides the Transition, had a blast on it. Yeah. So Bill, some of the bikes that you guys have out of your shop, I know that I don't understand how this works, but certain bike shops are certain dealers for certain bike companies within like a radius or something like that. So what bikes do you have in your shop?
So primarily Pivot, Ibis, Intense, Yeti, and the Pivot's been with us from the beginning, Intense as well. Ibis too, pretty early on, and Yeti. And then there's, we're working really hard to pick up Transition in Rocky Mountain now. But we're not signed with them yet, but we've been talking with them. It's just a matter of pulling the trigger. We did a little remodel on the shop recently and remodeled the garage space. So I think we're ready. I think we're ready to bring on. We like the niche, high-end, smaller brands. It gives us flexibility. It gives our consumers a choice of what they want to buy. We like those brands. It's neat to see. Really neat.
I see in here we have some folks saying SB150 spokesman saying SB150 is 30 pounds. Trail Dogs, my bike weighs 36 pounds, so e-bike just makes sense. My bike is not an e-bike. So talking about that lighter e-bike, but
the lighter e-bike is not necessarily an SB150 because they're speccing it with, to get it at 37 pounds, they're speccing it with, I think it's 140, 130. Kind of downcountry geo on that SL pivot, but I know people are going to throw, it's 150, 140, I think. And I think people are going to probably throw a 160 fork on it. And I'm sure Cascade Link has something, in the works to make it a little bit longer. But I don't think it'll gain that much weight. And it could be equivalent to that Yeti SB 150. That's one thing I've noticed riding the e-bikes with having that much weight down low. It rides like you have going downhill, like you have 15 to 20 more millimeters of travel. just because of the connection with the ground, because of the weight that's underneath the bike, that low center of gravity is kind of holding you down. It's a little a little bit like cheating when it's super heavy. I mean, I can't really speak to the lightweight e-bikes yet, what it's going to feel like, but
I always tell everybody when I'm on the decoy, I tell everybody that I feel like I'm hooking up with a magnet whenever I like blast into a corner.
You're just connected to the ground, especially that decoy is like really connected. Are you on a smaller or medium?
Medium.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big bike. You know,
medium decoy core 3, man. it puts a smile on my face. But God, there's so many good bikes out there. I mean,
do you have the E8000 or EP8?
EP8.
EP8. Okay. Does yours EP8 rattle at all? Like make a little rattling noise when you're coasting?
Yes. As soon as I get off the pedal, like for a second, it sounds like a marble that goes clink, and I'm like, what is that? What is that? You know, one of these days it's gonna get stuck on the
when they were trying to make it have less drag than the A1000. So it's just kind of, are you familiar with Ducati and the clutches on the dry clutches? It reminds me of that. Where it kind of rattles a little bit, but it's freewheeling and less drag that way, I guess, that's what I was told. But
got it. So that's like it disengaging when you first coast. Yeah,
that's the marketing guys making something up, probably. I
buy it. I hope they don't recognize the marble that's in there. I hope that marble never gets stuck. Spokesman MTB is saying the Ripmo is 32 pounds. Highball is 20 pounds. What is the Highball?
Oh, Highball's their XC. Highball is Santa Cruz's XC race bike, which is like a hardtail.
My God.
Hardtail. Really, like the chainstays are like super thin, flexy.
Yeah.
Like
dude.
It looks, the Highball looks like a Cervelo C3 road bike.
Whoa. That's pretty cool. What now? When we were on the dirt jumpers yesterday, the DJs, how much do those weigh? Because man, I literally came off the decoy and then jumped onto that pivot dirt jumper.
That's the pivot point. Even though it's a great steel dirt jump bike, but it's a lightweight steel dirt jump bike. That bike's probably, you only had a rear brake on that. So doing some of those drops you did with the rear brake was pretty cool. But and only 120 millimeters travel, and the head angle is like 68 degrees.
Yeah.
But that bike's light for, that's why you were floating around in the wind when you bunny up that staircase and you drifted probably 2 feet to the left.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna go into the rails and I'm probably gonna like bang my knee here and then touchdown. I was like, oh, thank God we're down. We're on the ground. Jeez Louise. That was a good looking bike though, man.
Yeah, neat bike.
That was so fun. So here's something that now looking at DJs after yesterday, Bill, and for the folks that are in the chat, a lot of us have mountain bikes. At one point, maybe some of us had hardtails. When do we get a dirt jumper, and do we get a dirt jumper? Because I know a lot of those skills may transfer.
I got a dirt jumper when my kids were like 10 to 12 years old. And the main reason was we had a pump track built by a friend of mine that worked for Oakley, Ryan Shea. And this was up in Marina Hills, just east of Dana Point in Laguna. He had the raddest pump track, and it was right above my kids' elementary school. And we would just go there every day after school. And this is before I owned the bike shop. And we would just pump track. So that's when I bought the BJ bike and got into it.
Wow, there's one right there.
But still, from a jumping, like pump track perspective, I love it. But a jumping perspective, coming from a moto background, I still preferred, like, even hitting like medium-sized dirt jumps. I kind of preferred riding like short travel mountain bike on that stuff. That was like a downcountry mountain bike feels better to me jumping it with 27-inch wheels than a dirt jump bike, just because it feels more stable. And I don't know. That's just my personal preference, but I'm an old guy. So
no, that makes sense. I mean, it probably feels like how your mountain bike would feel. So like, as far as transferring those skills over to the mountain bike, it wouldn't be like, so foreign. Trail Dogs MTB saying, when your city makes a bomb pump track like ours, no kidding. Yeah, Temecula or Murrieta Temecula area is going to have a nice, I think 9 acres they're doing out there in Menifee. So kind of close to Greer. Sweet pump track.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I keep looking at those, especially after yesterday. I'm thinking, man, would a DJ improve my skills for pumping and cornering and airtime?
I also think it'd be fun at like Santa's Village, to have a bike like that. But then I also look at, I had a slope style bike, a Trek Ticket for a while, which was a 26-inch short travel, basically dirt jump bike. And that was a lot of fun. And at a place like Santa's Village, off the hook fun,
Ooh.
just to have that poppiness and and we're not even a Trek dealer, it was just a bike, it's just, I liked that bike. It was cool. Pivot had an M4X at the time. I just couldn't get one. So,
oh man,
which was pretty cool. They're
so
like dual slalom 26er.
What's the difference between that type of bike and a dirt jumper? Are they pretty close to the same, or is the geometry completely
Very,
different?
very close to the same. It's like what those guys are using for the slope style competitions, but pretty steep head angles and not much suspension travel, but designed so those guys can do multiple flips and 360s on them, yet still have a little bit of cushion, a little bit of forgiveness, so they don't blow out their rear tires on the landings.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's so impressive, man. That those guys do that. It's backflips, hands off the bike. Like, my goodness, 30 feet, 40 feet in the air.
Yeah,
insane.
Nick, who was filming yesterday,
yes,
I think talked Blair into doing a backflip. So I think Blair is like slated to try a backflip.
Oh my gosh,
hopefully
Blair.
He's going to do it to like an airbag first, but
yes,
he's committed to it.
So holy cow.
Blair, if you're listening,
yeah. Oh my gosh. So Blair, and then how did Nick threw a backflip at the session jump at Sky Park?
Yeah, crazy, huh?
That's so insane. And where do you learn this stuff? Like, do you do it into a pool, into an airbag? Like,
Nick said he started with an airbag. I've tried it in an airbag a few times, and pulled it off, but failed a few times, and decided I didn't want to fail on the dirt, so I've never tried it on the dirt, and I don't think I ever want to.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Brett Hall says, I want to be
there. He wants to be there for Eric Blair's.
Blair, there's going to be so many YouTubers and Instagrammers there when you decide to go through this. It's
actually, a good spot. Maybe Sea Otter this next year. There's the airbag there. We could get them to do it there.
Yeah, that would be good. There you go. Now, I don't know, but I've heard that the airbag could even hurt versus like a foam pit. Like,
yeah.
Is that true?
The time I didn't pull it off in the airbag, like the 2 times, my neck was really sore because it can catch you. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but my neck was pretty tweaked.
Dude, there could still be like that big slap, all that mass coming down versus a foam pit. It's just kind of like squishy.
Nick on that jump that he backflipped at Sky Park, his first attempt, he just didn't quite make it and ran right out of it. Didn't even phase him that he didn't pull it off.
Oh gosh.
But I think youth and flexibility are key.
Yeah. Right. As soon as for us older guys, as soon as we go upside down, it's like, which way is up again? Which way am I supposed to go? Oh man, SSB John B is in the house. He says, "What up, family? Let's go." Good to see you, John. Good to see you on here. Joe Pimp is saying Woodward and Tahoe is a good place to practice for kids.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Those Woodwards always have a lot of cool stuff, man. I love it.
They probably have the resi ramp landings. So
yeah,
practice their tricks and stuff.
That's right. Mia, what's up, Mia from MTB Women's Network? She says, "What's up, everyone? Welcome to the show." Again, we're talking with Brett Hall, the owner of Cycleogical, and man, such a crazy, cool story on how you opened the shop up 12 years ago. Joey, if we can, let's pull up the Instagram and go back through some of the Cycleogical pictures, because not only is he an owner of the bike shop, but he is a great rider. And there is some good video coming out of the Southern California area. Bill, where do you primarily like to ride?
Just to get my morning workout, a little secret spot by the shop in San Juan Hills called Camino Las Ramblas. It's not dog park. It's kind of similar dirt and terrain to that, like hardback clay. It's a great area to get out. Some good short, steep runs. It's not really well-known place, but it's fun. So that's good for a quick, it's 5 minutes away from the shop, quick rip. But I really love Laguna. I like getting out to Laguna, and there's some amazing trails out there. Some that are, not designated as legit legal trails, but there's some really good trails out there.
There's some steep stuff coming out of there, man. Whenever I see like footage that comes out of there, Bill, I'm like, holy smokes. We'll pull this up here for the folks that are looking. This is the Instagram page for Cycleogical, and when we go through here, there's a couple. Bill, is there something here that you wanted to?
Sure. This is a cool little trail. The one, let's see, I think it's Chris Heath is staring into the. Scroll down.
Down.
Lost.
Oh, did I go too far?
I don't know. No, I don't see it anymore. I just see myself on the screen.
For the folks that are on the audio, we're heading over to Cycleogical's Instagram page and looking at some of the footage that comes out of there from Southern California. Looks like you got like ambassador riders, just guys that like look at this one right here. This looks like it's steep. What is this one right here? Holy cow!
I don't see it.
Oh, it's not popping up on your side.
Yeah. You got it. Does everyone else see it?
No. It's coming up. It's right here.
Oh, there you go. Oh, what's that?
That is something.
That looks. Oh, I know what that is. That looks like the. Oh, that's PGs. That's the rock roll on PGs. And that was one of our shop ambassadors, Ryan Brubaker, aka Brewdozer. This is one of those trails where you don't really want to ride after June, in my opinion, especially if you're close to 200 pounds. Ryan's probably 6'2", 195, big dude. Hard to get slowed down and get turned for that. And the consequence, if you don't make that turn, can be pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it looks like it'd be a helicopter ride. I mean, look at that stuff right there.
There you go.
Jeez, my goodness.
You can see Laguna Canyon down below you at 133.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So he just laid it down right there because of the corner. He's like, I'm not going off of that. My gosh. Okay.
And then he turned into a dirt churro because you get all sweaty and then you fall in that dust and instant dirt churro.
Then there was this one up here. I think this is also another one of your local spots. Let's see. Is it this one right here?
Oh yeah, that's a GoPro of me following Yeti guy Chris Heath. He's borrowing my Pivot Firebird 2.9. This guy's a pro and has never ridden this trail, and he decided to ride it blind with me behind him. And I like to think I'm pretty fast on this trail, but he kind of gapped me, and he'd never ridden this trail before. So
wow, totally riding. Geez, riding it blind.
Yeah, there's a reason why they call them professionals.
Yeah, no kidding. Look at that thing. Air Blair saying one of the gnarliest trails in LB. Zero room for error. Wow. Look at that. Tight turns, exposure on the right.
Yeah, this is spring conditions, so this is prime. This is another trail where it's like after June or July, till we start getting rains, and it's one of those trails where hard to get slowed down in certain areas. And
dang,
it's kind of one of the slower speed, steeper, techie trails out there, I think.
Yeah, that exposure and those sharp turns, man. You want to make sure you're not.
And it's kind of easy to get. It's like, that's a really nice ocean view, and it's like easy to get distracted.
Right.
Staring off into the ocean.
Or if you override it and then you don't make a corner, that's there's like
you just lay there and look at the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. Bomber Crew just jumped on. What's up, Bomber Crew? They're a veterans organization.
Oh, cool.
Big crew.
Cool.
Yeah, Bill here.
I need to hook up with those guys because one of our ambassadors is well, we've got a few different veterans that are our ambassadors that are ex-military, and myself as well. And it's kind of one of the things we like to foster is getting people back on the bike after they come back from maybe serving a tour. So we work a lot with our friends at Camp Pendleton, and one of our friends is a gunny sergeant there who brings younger guys that have come back into the shop. We get them set up, and gives you something to think about, other than the negative stuff that you came back with.
Right. Yeah. I love what you guys are doing with that Bomber Crew and EVA, Team EVA. They're just really helping out with PTSD for a lot of these soldiers who come back and they need an outlet.
Yeah, it's an amazing outlet, and yeah, we've got several people that can really attest to that have come back messed up, and this has helped them a lot. This is a trail built by
Woo!
That guy's name that's Chad Webster, and he's on it's like custom hand built steel bike out of Las Vegas. I forget the brand. It's a 160 travel 29er. He built that trail. It's called Hitman.
Hitman. Oh yeah, that's a Riverside. That's Riverside area.
It's out in Riverside. That's a springtime trail, of course, for out in Riverside. But reminds me, it's like a bigger version of the Super Mario drop in Laguna, but very similar feel to that drop. Yeah, it's no joke.
Yeah, that definitely. I heard, I know some of the trail dogs had sent off of this. I heard that the actual drop is kind of blind, the line for it.
Oh yeah. We try to keep a couple of rocks up there on the top, and then same thing for like a trail like if we're gonna ride a trail like that in Laguna, we try to leave some sticks up there for the proper takeoff. But it's good to look at it, line it up first, think about it, maybe go out there with someone who's done it before, and line it up before you do it. Take a bike back up.
Yes, exactly. Always good when you can take a bike back up.
This is the Pink Pig right here. That's Brian Haig riding the Pink Pig, which was I think Santa Cruz made a limited number of these mega towers in light pink.
Dang, look at this. Look at this. There is so much steep stuff in Laguna Elisa area. My goodness.
This is Laguna. This is Elisa Wood Canyon. Kind of, I think this trail is called Meadows. Meadows Trail, okay? We'll just call it Meadows.
Yeah, right, exactly. Dang, so much stuff. And for the folks who've ever seen some of Tommy's videos, Reckless Riders, you might recognize some of this stuff. But my goodness, Bill, there is some crazy stuff. But how awesome is it, man, that you get to live this type of lifestyle, riding your bike with all these folks?
Yeah, it's super cool. And it's amazing. Really, really lucky to be able to do this. So.
And so for Cycleogical, the store, I know you are, you guys are back in there, running the shop, building out this enduro team, but what else what are some of the future things that you have in store for Cycleogical?
Well, definitely the collaborations with the events and things like that. Also, we'd love to collaborate with Over the Hump. That's just a really good event too. And then I got to drop a note about Ralphie Andrews. He's one of our employees. Has been there for a while. He's like, people call him the mayor of Dana Point.
That's awesome.
He started. Actually started the company Killer Dana Surf Shop in Dana Point. So he's a really avid surfer, and just has actually, even the fact that he was a surfer and had Killer Dana, he's always hosted a group mountain bike ride at Romulus every Tuesday, and it's his groups, and it's kind of it's the Ralphie Riders, so he's been doing that for years. Good group of guys that he brings out there. A lot of surfers. He's brought so many surfers into the mountain bike industry, and he just says to him, "Yeah, bro, it's always 6 feet and classy in the dirt. The waves are not always there."
Right.
He gives us a shaka, and when he brings people in and just gets people stoked on the new sport and getting them involved, and surfing is like a really humbling thing. I didn't try surfing until I was 40 years old, and probably the most humbling thing I've ever tried. So these surfers, they've got mad skills. They get on the mountain bikes and they pick it up really quick. which is really, really neat to see.
Yeah, I bet a lot of that pumping action, like pumping in the wave, being in the right
It's
spot.
it translates a lot to the
Yeah.
mountain bike and carrying speed.
And then the elements. I mean, I remember when I used to surf a lot when I lived down in San Diego, that was one of the peaceful things, just getting away, getting out there and having a blast, like with your buddies, you know, taking in the sunset or taking in the sunrise when you're paddling out in the ocean. And then there'd be these days where they were magical, and there'd be these days where you couldn't paddle out.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, you just people to the left and to the right of you are paddling out fine. You're duck diving like crazy. You can't get out.
One of the recent surfers that we brought in and that got into mountain biking, he's like, this sport's amazing. He goes, for most people, it'll take them 3 years to learn how to surf. Okay. You know, or just to get it. And in mountain biking, you can get it in 3 months because you can go out every day. Whereas in surfing, you have to, like you said, I couldn't paddle out that day. The conditions just weren't right, or the water was too cold, or
direction.
With mountain biking or cycling, you can squeeze it in any time. Yes. Well, at least around here in Southern California. So
yes, totally. And the cool thing about mountain biking too, that it's not like such a limited resource in the sense of the trails, meaning that you got 5 guys on a peak of a wave and everyone's like trying to battle to get in the right spot to catch the wave. You got 5 guys that are getting ready to drop in on a trail and you're like, dude, let's go. You want to go? You want to follow? I'll follow. You want to come with us? So good.
Yeah, exactly.
It is so good. Trail Pimp is saying he's out of the Tahoe area. He's saying, Spokesman, congrats on your new bike. He just got a Yeti, which is awesome. He says, thanks, man. New one dropping tomorrow. I'm celebrating.
Did you get a SB 150?
I believe it was a 150. Wasn't it a 150, Spokesman?
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was like this turquoise. And then you know how like there's a saying, how many bikes do you need? Well, it's the N.
N plus one. Yeah.
Plus one, right? So if you have 4 bikes, then do I need a new bike? Well, N plus 1 means, I need 5. So this might be a quiver killer because he's saying it's an N minus 1. He's got a pretty sweet video out there on YouTube. Cool. Yeah, you got to check it out. Got to go to Spokesman MTB, check out that N minus 1 video. He does a good job on that new bike day, which is awesome. Bill,
has he tried the E150 yet by any chance? Has anyone that's listening tried that bike?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Anybody tried the
easy bike?
He says like and subscribe.
Yeah.
That is awesome. When it comes to out of a bike shop, when it comes to people coming in, I'm sure it used to be like boys all the time coming in, guys, their sons. Are you seeing a good influx of females coming into the sport now?
You know, we have on the descent race team, we've had two women on that team always, and they've done a really good job for our shop as far as like, you know, fostering new female riders and getting them into the shop. But what I'm seeing a lot of is the younger girls. We had, you know, one of the girls that we supported that's now sponsored by Specialized, as well as one of our junior DH kids. They've moved in and gotten picked up by Specialized. So we're seeing this younger female riders, a lot of them coming into the sport and just progressing. And there's a lot of opportunities for them in the industry. I think a lot of the brands are looking for that.
Yeah. With like, you know, Liv coming out with their stuff and their geometry. I believe their geometry is different. It's not just a smaller bike. I think it is a little different for the female riders.
Yeah.
Juliana, I'm not sure if there's, but yeah, it's great to see it. That's cool that you're seeing that.
A lot of it's marketing speak, but you know, in these female specific products, they'll at least spec them with a shorter stem, a skinnier bar, a woman specific saddle, and some different colors. But for the most part, I think they're mostly using the same molds as the men's bikes, but making those other tweaks, you know, help it out a lot.
Yeah, that's good. Alpha MTB, part of the Bomber Crew, says just stopping by to say what's up, MTB community. What's up, Alpha MTB? Good to see you. You guys are getting called out here by Bill at Cycleogical, saying that he wanted to hook up with you guys because he Bill is also a veteran, so wanted to link up with you guys. MTB Co-op just joined. He says, awesome to see the sport expand to more people. Sweet Lines in Seattle is a great program promoting diversity in the sport.
Cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
They
got a
awesome.
great, that like out in just east of Highway 90, Duthie, I think is a really great spot for people to progress. Then I heard they have a spot like that they built under Interstate 5 in downtown Seattle that has like a pump track as well.
Ooh.
Which means that if it's underneath, that it's probably dry. So anyway, they could probably speak more to that. I used to kind of grew up in that area, but
yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, it could be like really good, dry but still moist type of terrain versus what we have out here. We're riding on slippery stuff. Yeah. MTB Co-op says, I was just there today. Confirmed. The place exists. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Bill, what do you think as far as like from what you see in the mountain biking community and mountain biking industry, is there something that's missing that needs to be filled? Is there a gap that we could all do as a community, or you think a mountain bike brand needs to do something? Is there a gap that you can see?
I just think, friendly education amongst riders and newer riders, and just keeping what we love about mountain biking, or what you personally love about mountain biking, and what might be your pet peeve, and trying to make sure that we keep the community growing, but growing in a way that's just core to what your beliefs are and how you want to, experience mountain biking, and how you experienced it when you first became a mountain biker. Kind of welcoming. I hope it continues that way.
Yeah.
And bringing the stoke too. I mean, just getting that, just getting people happy, and making them excited about what they're doing. And remembering, like, even if you're riding with someone new, just remember the first time that you caught air, and it's like cheering that person on and being like, hey, that was rad. You caught air. That's amazing.
Right. Yeah. Kind of like letting them just enjoy, validate how they feel, because we were just there too. Alpha MTB says Veterans Day ride. Come on out, Bill. So sounds good. From veterans for veterans. SSB says, glad to see Mark and Bill with high energy after a long day yesterday. Making memories, not excuses. SSB life. I cannot wait for that commercial to come out. It's going to be so fun to see. MTB Co-op is saying, here we go. This is it. 15 Colonnade. I actually have a video of that area. Pretty cool spot with lots of potential. That's the spot you're talking about. Okay. Yeah, that is cool. Spokesman MTB says, got to put that on the wish list. Oh man, Bill, it's been awesome to have you on the show. Cool. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us about Cycleogical, kind of like the story of how the shop opened and where you are today. Tell people how they can follow Cycleogical, and if they're in the area, where are you located, where they could just pop on in.
Yeah, so we're at the downtown Dana Point, in the heart of Dana Point, at the corner of Pacific Coast Highway and Golden Lantern. Hobie Surf Shop's actually on the corner, and then we're directly behind Hobie Surf Shop, across from Hennessy's Tavern in the plaza.
Nice.
We're eating some brisket there.
And then
brisket by Brian.
Brisket by Brian. And then as far as IG, where can they follow you on IG?
Cycleogical on IG. CYCLEOGICAL. So yeah,
nice. There it is, right there.
Yeah.
Cycleogical. Yeah, this is this is the inside of the shop right here, yeah?
Yeah, that's part of it there, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, folks, if you're looking for a bike, or if you're in the area, pop on into Cycleogical, say hi to Bill, say hi to Melissa. They're there.
Have some refreshments. We always have refreshments, and cool things to talk about with the guys wrenching on bikes, and good trail advice too. All the guys know all the trails in the area, and happy to point you in the right direction. Talk about the local San Clemente stuff.
And if you're a rider in the area as you build out this team, this psychological enduro team, what kind of person are you looking for to be on the team, and how would somebody approach you as far as like saying, hey, I'm totally interested in being part of this team? What are you looking for?
So we're looking for riders that are really interested in progressing. The youth was our main focus before, and we've brought a lot of youth riders up and through the ranks, and some have gotten sponsored and are making money cycling now. Others have gone on to, like I said, one of our shop Groms, he worked with us from the time he was 14 till he was 18. He's just finished medical school and is doing his residency in Colorado, but still rides and represents our shop. So we want people that are going to ride, represent the product, and also jointly represent our sponsors like SSB, and have a succinct plan in place as far as how you're going to represent Cycleogical and the brands we carry. Most of the people that we've brought on have come to me with a plan of the race schedule they plan on racing, the events they plan on hitting, and what they've done before in the past. And then we look at it based on that, and if it's a good fit, we bring them on board.
Nice. Do they have to be local in the area, or if there's a race circuit close by? I mean, do you do
we kind of prefer, I mean, because we are a local shop, just to benefit our shop and bring people in that are going to, come to Cycleogical and buy a bike, or come to Cycleogical and get fit or get service. So I would say we're open to anything, but mainly Southern California.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, somewhere local close by. What a beautiful spot, man. Right there by the Hobie shop in Dana Point. Bill, it's been awesome talking to you. Melissa, I see you in the background every now and again. Great to see you.
She's been walking by. Yeah.
Great seeing you. Bill, is there anything that we didn't cover that you wanted to share before we sign off for the night?
No, I'm all good. That was great. That was pretty cool. I like seeing everyone chiming in too.
Awesome. Looks like you got a couple people that are going to be stopping by. Bomber Crew is going to stop by. Brett Hall says he's going to give the IG a follow at Cycleogical. That's cycle, like cycle, CYCLE, and then ogical, and you could find them there. Trail Dogs are going to stop on by. That is a big squad. They've got a ton of followers. Spokesman MTB saying SSB for the win. And then this just popped in. The MTB Co-op, if any of you make it up to Washington, I'll show you around. Awesome conversation, guys. Thanks for building the community. Love it. Love it. Awesome.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. Really appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, man. With that being said, it's great to see you guys. Thank you all so much for the chat, for joining us. And Bill, Melissa, and I are out. And if you're in the area, stop on into Cycleogical. Say what's up to Bill and Melissa. See you guys on the trails.